friends, welcome back to the channel. Alright, today we got a really super simple Christmas ornament carving, and we're going to carve up this little Christmas stocking. I got one right here that I did earlier actually. So the goal today is to get this little simple carving down. Now I always say this in my videos, is most of my carvings right now are geared towards beginners, because when I started I couldn't find a lot of little beginner projects that I could work on to learn my skills and practice my skills with. So that's kind of my goal at this point, is to give you quick little things that you can carve, in an hour or less. And as you get faster, and better, you'll be able to knock these things out. And this little stocking is, although it seems simple, it's fun, it's quick, people like it. My wife loved it. It was just a little simple thing, and she loved it and was like, I want some for the tree. So, just simple, fun little things that you can do real quick and give to your family and friends. But we're going to build on this. You'll see in the next video, we're gonna build on this a little bit with a couple little projects. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so I'm using a little block of wood, and if you have a scroll saw, naturally you could scroll saw this out and make it even a little quicker to carve. But if you got an apartment or live somewhere where you don't have a garage or don't have access to tools like that, this is a perfect little piece you can start off with. So let me get my measurements. And this little block is 2 inches by 2 3/4, and it's a 1/2 inch thick, a little bit over a 1/2 inch thick. It's about 5/8. All right. So like I always say, a lot of my projects that I've been doing here has just been from scraps, the little scrap woods that I found from cutting out different rough outs for different projects that I'm working on. But you can do these with just minimal little pieces of wood, and won't cost you a lot of money, and they're fun and quick, and you can throw them away and use them for kindling if you mess one up. It's not like you got a lot of money involved in it. So the knives I'm going to use today, I'm going to use the Flex Cut. It's a 2-pack series you can get on Amazon, and I'll put the link down in the description. And I think these are around $48, $48.50, something like that. And on Prime, I just seen the other day, so they're there. You can get them. To get 2 knives for $48 is really a good deal. Especially this little detail knife. It's perfect for doing little faces and little things like that. I probably won't have to use it too much on this particular one, but I do in the other one. And I just want to say, sometimes I say Flexall, but I mean Flex Cut, so I don't know why I get that mixed up, but I guess it's the water sealant stuff that I use once in a while for different things, so I end up calling it Flexall or Flex Tape or whatever it's called. But these are Flex Cut knives, and they're good for beginners. They're sharp, but they don't come real sharp, so you really need to strop them down real good when you first get them. And once you get them stropped real good, man, they stay sharp for a while. They're a good quality knife, and it's not the only knife I use, but they're one of my top go-tos when I'm just whittling around on different stuff. So alright, so let's get started on this little stocking today. First thing we want to do, I got the pattern, and I'll have a pattern. I'll put that up on the website. I always put the patterns up on the website, basswoodcarving.com, so you can find them there. And I usually do a blog article on each carving. So I'll put the dimensions in there, because sometimes I forget. I get going thinking about too many things when I'm making a video, and I forget to even tell you the size of wood. But again, you can always go to the basswoodcarving.com site, and you'll find the dimensions and stuff for the project there. Alright, so let's get started on this. First thing we want to do is we're just going to start carving out the shape of the of the stocking. And when you do something like this off of a pattern, you know, don't uh, don't fret if you have a bunch of wood to cut away, because you can, you know, you can cut that away pretty quick. So basically, I'm just going to be using stop cuts and paring cuts to get in close to the line. And I'm going to stay close to the line. I'm not going to cut the line all the way off. I want to use that line, and that's going to be my rounding point. So as I take off the line, I can start getting the rounding of the edges and stuff. So, all right, let's tack into this bad boy. So we're just going to use stop cuts to get us down in there. And this one's, oh, usually you can tell when you first start cutting in what kind of piece of wood you got. And you can hear this, I don't know what I cut from this, but this one's a little tough. Just drop your knife before you get started. That'll help a lot. And always pay attention to your grain, which way your grain's running. So that way you can make some progress on cutting these babies out real quick. All right. The other thing is, I usually like to take off all my hard edges. You know, when I first start, that just makes it more comfortable to hold in your hand while you're cutting. So you can go ahead and just chip all these hard edges off, since we're going to round it off anyway. No big deal. Now you can do the back on this one. I did both sides, so we'll do that on this one. That way, if it spins around or don't hang perfectly on the tree, you'll be able to see both sides of it. Hope everybody's doing well. Everybody's probably getting all tired of being cooped up and nowhere to go. But carving's a good thing. If you're bored, it's a good hobby to have. I've been carving a lot these last 6-8 months. You can get wood. I've been able to get some wood, so if you're new to carving, we're using basswood. It's a good carving. That's why my channel's Basswood Carving. That's all I really focus on carving is basswood. It's a good, easy carve for people just learning how to carve. And if you are new, make sure you go back and check out some of my earlier videos on the basics of carving, the knife cuts and stuff. That'll help you if you're just getting started. And there's a ton of good stuff out there on YouTube. Some really good channels if you're learning to carve. I watch them all. I try to watch all of them. You can learn something from every carver, really. I found out, like especially when I go to my carving clubs, there's a lot of good carvers. And I would suggest, if you're not part of a carving club, to look in your area and see if you can find a carving club. A lot of them are not meeting right now. Some of them are, some of them aren't. But try to find you a carving club. Don't be shy. Drop on in there. Contact them, send them an email, tell them you like to learn to carve. And then when I was first getting started, I was kind of intimidated. I thought, oh man, everybody in there is going to be good, and I'm not going to be, nobody's going to want to spend the time. But you'll be surprised. There's a lot of carvers that'll spend time with you and help you with your skills. And watching the videos are good and fun, doing it on your own. But sometimes it's just those little tricks and tips that somebody can show you that'll make your work a lot better. And I try to bring some of those out in my videos and stuff I've learned from other carvers. I have a carving teacher as well, but you know, like I said, they're not meeting. Well, they're meeting a little bit. Just started back meeting, so it's been hard to get with a group. And that's kind of what inspired me to do this channel, was that after watching all the other carvers, I thought, you know, I'd like to share my skills, even though I'm still a beginner. I consider it. I've only been carving for about 2 years. I still consider myself a beginner. Still got a lot to learn, and you'll find out, you know, even though there's only 5 basic cuts in wood carving, there's a lot to learn, especially when you start working with your gouges and detailing and just, you know, the ideas that people come up with. It's just a lot of fun. I hope I can inspire you to pick up a knife and some basswood and carve something. Alright, so we're just trying to get down close to this line right here, just using stop cuts and push cuts. If you're new, you know, use a carving glove until you develop that control with your knife. I mean, even a lot of experienced carvers use carving gloves, but I mean, I do still, especially if I'm working with a really big piece, or if it's a hard piece and I know that I'm going to be doing some heavy work on it, I use a carving glove. But the only reason I don't in the videos was just to try to give you a better view, especially since I'm working with a lot of small pieces. It seems like the carving glove blocks the view a little bit of the piece, so that's why you don't see me with one in the videos. But that don't mean that I condone not wearing a glove. You should wear a glove. I did for a long time. I wore a glove, and like I said, still once in a while I'll still put the glove on when I know I'm going to be hacking on a hard piece of wood, or working on something that is uncomfortable in the hand. So I'm just taking this down, trying to make this a fast carve, so don't spend a lot of time. Give you a nice little short video start. And like I said, we're going to build on this. I got a couple little things that I've done, and you'll see the videos pop up here in the next week on working with just this little stocking. The end grains are always the toughest for you. So a little trick that I've learned is, if it's really hard, see if I can spray it down a little bit, especially on those end grains, and let it soak in for a second. Now this is 50% alcohol, 50% water, and the alcohol that I use, well, I think this is 91%. And lately it's been kind of hard to find alcohol, but 70% will work too. But look at that. Once it gets soaked in there, if it's really hard end, or you got a really hard piece of wood, that alcohol just makes those end grains a little easier to take off. It softens the wood. Now you don't want to soak it down too much, especially when you're doing little detail work, because it will start what you call split. It'll start splitting on you, and it'll come out good. The wood will come out good, but what will happen is it will start splitting when it dries out. I had a really hard, tough piece of wood that I was working on one time, and I guess I got it a little too wet on the face, and what happened was it split when it dried out. So use it sparingly, but use it so that you can take that end grain off. Look at that. I can just take off little slices of that end grain, and it makes it really come off of there. Just one of those little tips. And the alcohol, what the alcohol does, it evaporates away, so, and it helps penetrate. Helps to penetrate the wood. Put the water into the wood a little easier. Flip it over. And sometimes when you're taking off a bunch of wood, almost just cut one edge like this, and then cut back the other edge this way. And then, see, that's going to chip. So whenever it's real hard like that, turn it around, cut the opposite direction. So see, when I cut this side, then I cut this side, I can come back in and take it out off the top. So approach it at 3 different angles. Left side, right side, then come back and get the top. And that'll help a lot when you're trying to take off a bunch or maybe a hard piece. Now see, that's gonna, when the wood starts catching on you, you're probably gonna chip it. See how it chipped right there? Alright, so always just turn it around and go the opposite direction. Alright, so we're just going to start rounding this around a little bit now and getting our shape. Like I said, on this one we're doing both sides. So we'll just flip it over, get the other side. That was 50% alcohol, 50% water. So you can see how much, even here where I didn't directly spray it, it took a little bit of the over mist. it made that a little easier to cut out. Just getting her down close. Again, I really appreciate the support everybody's giving me. I'm new to this YouTube thing and making videos and all that, so everybody's been really supportive of it, and I really enjoy that. I get emails. I'm getting some emails from people and some new carvers, and that's really cool. If I can inspire you to pick up a knife and carve something, then that's the purpose of these videos. It's just to help spread the art, spread the fun. Looking at possibly maybe doing some lives and carve alongs with people, so I'm trying to get all that in place. So hopefully you guys will be able to log in and we'll carve a project together. I'm looking into setting up a Patreon so everybody can get the plan. Or we might just put it up on the website and have a project page where I give you all the dimensions. You get your wood together in enough time, and then we can carve together, and we can zoom in, go into Zoom, and maybe you guys can show me your carvings as we're going along, and kind of like I can teach, not really teach, just give you some guidance on the project. Alright, so we're getting there. We almost got the boot. I say boot, but it's really a stocking. We got it pretty well shaped down to where we want it now, except for the top. So we're gonna start cutting in the top. We're almost done, really. It's not gonna take very long. Alright, so when I got an area like this, right here, I'm going to save a lot of that right there, but I'm going to cut into here. So I'm going to make a stop cut. And I'm going to be very careful, because when you have a little tab, like I got right there, which is the stocking top right here, that dude will chip off on you. Almost when you're almost done, you'll be, boom, one cut, and next thing you know, you're looking for the super glue. And I know that from experience, because one of them I chipped it right off. See, so I'm just going to work my way in, and then I'll carve that little dude down. And sometimes you'll get to where you can't figure out which angle to cut it at. Turn it around and try a different cut, maybe. So here I'm going to use a pairing cut to work my way in. And flip it back over, take a little bit here, and I can see just by doing that this is going to be a chipping piece. So I got to be careful. I don't want to chuck it off. Okay, up here on the top, we're going to give her a little spray again. Just soften that top up. Look at that, look how I went down in there. Really easy. Almost too easy, so you gotta be careful. Like I said, when you're working with these small pieces, it's easy to chip off important part. And a lot of times you just start at the corners, take it down, work your way around, take off your ends, and then you can just come down the middle. And we're just working on rounding this off. We're almost done. Just gotta get a little more of this top off. And I'm gonna use a little swooping cut down and in and roll it out so I don't chuck that off. Plus I can get a little bit of shape without having just a big old flat edge there. And I always say start a little bigger, even though we've only got this little narrow spot right here. Start a little bigger, make it a little bigger, and you can always bring it back down a little bit. You can always take more wood off, but you can't put it back on. Unless you super glue it, I guess. Okay, this little tough little end here, so we do a little squirt. And then I can start by just rolling that in to get down to it. All right, so let's shape our top here. We're gonna make a stop cut on that line at the bottom, and we're gonna take a little bit out. And we can make this deeper, and the way you do that is just keep making little stop cuts. And this is piece fuzzy right here, so where a good sharp knife comes in play. Once I got my stop cut there, you can see I can just keep cutting right up to it. I'm working my way around. Okay. So we'll start rounding this down a little bit. And we're going to be real careful around this little piece. Just going down, cutting in, little stop cuts. This is where if you want to do cowboys and things like that, doing this kind of little cuts and being able to control your knife so your piece don't break off is really important. At least I think, anyway. And working on get that little tab in there. So we just keep cutting down till we get what we like. Alright, getting there. Since we're doing the back side, I didn't draw a line on there, but here's what we'll do. We'll work our way around. So we go here, and then here, and then we can see where we're at right here. So we'll just make a cut around, make that a little deeper. And we'll cut up to it. And just keep working it down until we meet them up. Okay, we'll go back around, put a little flat plane look to it. Taking off those surface. I call them the factory edges. Saw marked, plain edge, whatever you want to call it. Just scraping in and out, giving them little divots and making the back look like the front, so no matter how it's hanging on there, see what we get. We're almost there. one's a little more narrow, but I can just take that down a little more. Just jumping around, making some cuts. Rounding off any little humps you see. I can cut this one down a little bit more right there. We're almost there. You want to leave yourself enough that you can round that little edge, and we're going to do that with our little detail knife. This little edge right here is going to come down, and then we'll start rolling it in. We're going to take our little detail knife here, and we're just going to roll that in a little bit. We're just going to take off enough to get that flat spots off. Even though this is a simple little project, a beginner carver should be able to knock it out and make it look good. Alright, so here's what we'll do. Let's take this off. With the detail knife. Less chance of breaking it. And then we're going to cut it back in just a little bit so it sits back in there. Be really careful. Sorry if I'm getting out of frame. Okay, just going to thin it down a little bit. Try not to break it. Okay, thin it down a little bit on the back side. thinner I go, the more my chances increase of breaking it off. So go easy. Okay. Not quite as big, but it still looks good. Alright, around these edges down. And there we go. Get the back side a little bit. Simple Woodcarver. Alright, let's put a little texture on it. Okay, I'm using this little micro chisel tool, V tool. This is a U. Let's see, no, it's a V. Alright, so all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come around and give it a little texture. Just go in different directions. Make it look fuzzy. And random. And we probably won't paint this, guys, because this is pretty easy paint for you. I don't think you need to sit and watch me paint for a half hour. But I'll show you. Show you my finished one here in a minute. Close. Pretty simple. If you wanted to, you could leave a spot, a little smooth spot, Like say you want to leave a little smooth spot right here, and then you could put your family names on there, like mom, dad, brother, sister. And if you did a bunch of them for your tree, you could have your family stockings on the tree. Other things you could do, if you wanted to, you could hollow this out a little more so it maybe makes it look a little more three-dimensional. I always think after a carving, like, what else could I have done to that? So then on the next one you can do that and try it out. See how it works out. Like I said, with something like this, you can really experiment. You can paint it different. Okay. I think that's going to be it for this little quick carve. Hope it was quick. I'm not sure how much time it took. But alright. Get you a little ring. Put your little starter hole, wind that baby down in there. I used a paper clip because for some reason our dollar store didn't have any ornament clips, so I just made one out of a paper clip. Alright, so there you go, guys. Little Christmas stocking. Little fast, fun, quick little carve. Alright. Okay, guys, thanks for supporting the channel. I really appreciate everybody subscribing and sending emails and just notifications of new subscribers. Again, I really appreciate everybody's support. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Give me a like. That helps me get up there so more people see my video. And hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when we do the next one. Next one's probably going to have a little something coming out of the stocking. Alright? Okay, guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. And make sure you stop by the Basswood Carving channel and give us a like, share, and subscribe. We're also on Facebook at Basswood Carving. So look us up. And it's been fun. And we'll see you on the next one.